Today I'm going to be talking about the general principles of development in Chapter 6, Part 1. First is the sequence of development is somewhat predictable. It is based on universals and developmental milestones. For universals, it is a similar pattern in how children change in progress over time regardless of the specific development. For developmental milestones, it is the appearance of new developmentally more advanced behavior. An example of this is children usually learn to walk only after they learn how to sit up and crawl. There are 6 theoretical perspectives that children can develop at different rates. The first one is cognitive developmental theory. It is developmental changes in thinking, reasoning, and language. The next one is nativism. It is proposing that the foundations of some behaviors and abilities are biologically built-in traits and possibly unique to the human species. The next one is social cultural theory. And this one focuses on behavior learned by observing others and how they eventually assume control of their own behavior. The next one is information processing. For this one, it focuses on the specific ways in which learners can mentally think about or process new information and events. The next one is ecological systems. And this one emphasizes the various layers of a learner's social environment, for example, family, community, etc., and the interactive effects influencing the learner's development. The last one is psychodynamic theory. This one focuses on how early experiences affect personality development. Some of these experiences may not be available for conscious recall and self-reflection. The next one is how development is often marked by spurts and plateaus. For spurts, there are periods of relatively rapid growth, and for plateaus, there are slower growth periods. An example of this is the toddler's limited use of vocabulary for several months. Later on their second birthday, the children are able to speak a few sentences. Occasionally, the children may take a step backwards depending on the physical or cognitive skill that they are able to make a major leap forward. Development involves both quantitative and qualitative changes. For quantitative, it is research on information that is inherently numerical in nature or it can easily be reduced to numbers. For qualitative research, is information that cannot be easily reduced to numbers. It typically involves an in-depth examination and complex phenomenon. An example of this is stage theory, which is development that is characterized as processing through predictable sequences of stages, with early stages providing a foundation on which later more advanced ones build. An example of this is in children learning water throughout the early years and through school as well. Next, heredity and environment interact their effects on development. Both genetics and environment contribute to a child's ability to learn. Psychologists believe both nature and nurture influence development. Sensitive periods are predetermined points in development when a child is very susceptible to environment conditions. For example, students may often learn a second language better at a younger age when they are older. The children's own behaviors also influence their development. There is a three-way interplay for this. The first one is interval variables, which is genetic inclinations. The second one is environment, and the last one is behavior. There are 2 main principles for this. The first is that learners alter their current environment through both their behaviors and their internal variables, such as genes, traits, and mental process. The second one is that learners actively seek out environments that are a good fit for their existing behaviors and internal variables. And that is all for the first section of Chapter 6. I hope that you found this information useful for you. If you have any questions, please contact me.